All right, so this is us ranking the super movies. I think we finished watching the super movies yesterday or the day before, and I kind of have them all fresh since we just finished watching the last one. So I kind of want to get into ranking all of them. So we're gonna start with Battle of Gods. Battle of Gods is interesting because it was the first Dragon Ball movie, or literally the first Dragon Ball anything in like 4 years, and the last meaningful Dragon Ball content in like I want to say like 12, 13 years, right? Because GT, after GT, there wasn't much of anything. There were like a couple OVAs. There was like the Son Goku and his friends returns OVA, which is basically nothing, and then a couple OVAs that came with video games and stuff. I want to say Raging Blast, but I'm not sure. But there were OVAs that came with video games. But other than that, there was like no meaningful Dragon Ball media since GT, at least visually. Um, and Battle of Gods was the first thing. And I remember watching Battle of Gods and liking it a lot. And I was I was very excited to watch it. I was very, very excited to watch it, and I ended up enjoying it a lot. And uh, it felt like, oh, Dragon Ball's back. Um, and I think with time, this movie's interesting because it's an interesting watch, and it's an interesting moment in Dragon Ball history because of what it represents. But now, with the hindsight of, I want to say, what, 6 years? I want to say, when was Battle of Gods? When did Battle of Gods air? Battle of Gods. 10 years. Oh my God. Yeah. So with the hindsight of 11 years, I think this movie is actually pretty mediocre. Um, Having it watched it recently, this movie's biggest flaw is that it is paced very, very, very poorly, like horrendously poorly. There's a lot of talking, and there's a lot of non-consequential character, uh, basically yapping. It's not even character interactions because we didn't even get any meaningful character interactions in this movie. However, I do kind of want to grade it on a curve because it comes across as very purposeful, given the fact that, again, this is the first movie in forever, right? This is the first meaningful piece of like Dragon Ball media that's not a video game in forever, right? And they probably wanted to show off, Goku and Vegeta, obviously, but everybody, right? Like Chi-Chi and Bulma and Trunks and Goten and Gohan and Emperor Pilaf and Mai and Majin Buu and Krillin and Yamcha and Tien, right? They literally wanted to show off everybody in this movie, and they wanted like everybody to get at least some screen time, and I think that's and I kind of graded on a curve because of that. However, now that I'm not entirely uh, now that we have a lot more modern Dragon Ball content, I'm not exactly starving for those character interactions anymore. So now, again, with the benefit of looking back, the movie just gets worse. Um, so yeah, really, really poor pacing because of that. I think the movie's not funny. There are funny moments, but I don't think the movie's funny. And then the Trunks and my thing, I don't know who idea it was. I don't know why anyone thought it would be fine to pair a 40 plus year old woman with what is seemingly an 8-year old child. Um, just because the woman is also a child, has the body of a child. I don't understand who thought that was a good idea. I don't understand it was funny. I would have understood if it was like a gag, like here and there. But it was it became like grounds for like an actual meaningful character relationship between Trunks and Mai, and it's like, why did we think this was a good idea? Um, the best thing about the movie, and that's the worst thing about the movie. That and the pacing, I think, are the worst things about the movie. The movie doesn't look great. It has aged a lot more than all of these movies, that all the Z movies certainly, except I would take anything in C tier. Even Turles has some good moments that look really good. I would take anything from like Turles onwards as looking better than Battle of Gods. Like Turtles and Up, I would say all of those movies in C, B, and A tier look better than Battle of Gods. There are moments in Battle of Gods that look good, but uh, generally speaking, it doesn't look good and it doesn't animate very well either. The action scenes are not very impressive either. The best thing about the movie is Beerus and Whis. They're new characters and they are so different from what we traditionally know, right? They're not just a big hulking man. It's not some dude that transforms and becomes uglier and bigger and greener or bluer or metal in the case of Cooler, right? It's just a cat and an angel, right? And Whis, I think this is the best Whis has been in terms of character, and everything after that is just him getting worse and worse and worse. To the point where now he's just totally uninteresting. But the mysticism and the mystery of Whis and the battle and being a destroyer god and having like just overwhelming power that even Goku can't compete with, I think it's all like refreshing and interesting and cool. And it adds this element of like these guys, like Whis and Beerus, being like true forces of chaos that are just in charge of making sure that the universe like maintains homeostasis. So they're completely, truly neutral forces, and that's really interesting to me. And they kept that in this movie. Beerus wins the fight with Goku. Beerus wins the fight with Goku, and in the end, Beerus says, "You know what? Uh, I'm going to in my best interest. I'm going to save. Instead of destroying the Earth, I'm going to keep the Earth alive because it's in my best interest." And I want to see like how you guys take it from there. And I think that was like interesting because again, it leaves the door open. It leaves the door open for a lot of interesting interpretations, and a lot of interesting paths for the character to take. That immediately goes down the drain. By the way, that like just immediately goes down the drain. But for this movie, if you take it in a vacuum, it's really interesting. And then the power scaling reset that this movie does is also something that I'm a big fan of. So, with all this talk of Super Saiyan God, the whole movie, Super Saiyan God, the form isn't very interesting, but I like what it represents or represented, which is a power scaling reset, right? Um, GT essentially took the linear path all the way to its logical conclusion, to the point where it was basically treading the same ground that the Boo arc treaded, and it made it very much uninteresting. But they nailed it towards the end with Super Saiyan 4, right? It became a very linear. It was a very linear final logical finale to the Super Saiyan like power scaling to the Super Saiyan line, right? Super Saiyan 4 was like a return to that Saiyan heritage, to those roots, and then it's like a new interpretation of what it is to be the legendary Super Saiyan with its design and everything. And then you take Gogeta Super Saiyan 4 and it's like, it feels very final. It feels very final. So it's very difficult. It would be very difficult for them to move past that or to expand on that, right? So what they didn't expand on it very smartly. They, instead of going above, they just went sideways and they hit the reset button. And now we have God Key. So now everything that you learned, Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, Kaioken, Super Saiyan 1, grade 1, grade 2, bulky Super Saiyan, all of that is just down the drain. And we don't do that anymore. Now we're in God Key. And so it's a whole new scale. It's a whole new power scaling. And it's a whole new way of like energy and key and how fights can happen and stuff like that. Um, and it was very interesting. And for me, it was very interesting. The problem, the problem is that they immediately fucked it up. Everything with the super manga, the super anime, and then the subsequent movies, they just screw it up. They just screwed up, and they just went back to the well, and that is no more evident than with Resurrection F. So Resurrection F. Let me make a new row. What do I call this row? I'm gonna call this row, yeah, like insulting. Yeah, so Resurrection F is everything that the Dragon Ball haters and the Dragon Ball haters and the Dragon Ball meme guys and everybody who thinks Dragon Ball is just like brainless dudes punching and screaming and that there's no logic or reason or anything. That's what this is. This is vindication for all those people who hate Dragon Ball and they don't think there's anything of substance or anything of merit in the Dragon Ball franchise. Guess what? Resurrection F is an endorsement on exactly that mindset. It is the laziest, sloppiest, horrible, like horrendous looking retelling and a doubling and a tripling down of all of Dragon Ball's worst tech traits. Um, I don't even know where to begin with this movie. I legitimately don't know where to begin with this movie. So, first of all, Super Saiyan Blue. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. That was like the marketing that they used for this. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. I was excited for what the future of Dragon Ball was, or what the future of Dragon Ball held with Battle of Gods, because in the moment I really enjoyed the movie. Now I don't so much, but in the moment I really enjoyed the movie, and I enjoyed what it represented. It was like a new thing. Where are we gonna take Dragon Ball now? It's like we made a point to hit the reset button to introduce God Key and Super Saiyan God and all this stuff. What are we doing now? Where are we? How are we gonna make it any different? Well, guess what? We're just gonna put Super Saiyan on top of Super Saiyan God and just call it blue. Why? Why are we doing this? Like, who thought this was a good idea? And it's like the sloppiest, laziest idea of all time. Even in the marketing, it was like, here's Super Saiyan Blue. Why? 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 And it just came. So, like, why even bother hitting the reset button if you're just going to do the same thing? It's just a linear power up that's achieved through question mark. I don't know. No one talked about it. There's no narrative importance to it. It doesn't mean anything. Goku and Vegeta just have it and they use it, and it's not any more impressive than Super Saiyan. It's not any more impressive than Super Saiyan God. It doesn't reflect any power that they previously didn't. They're just able to do more of what they already do, and it's just very lazy, very sloppy, and it's just horrible. It's just literally horrible. Whis and Beerus, all the mysticism, all the mystique, all the all of this, everything that Battle of Gods built into making these characters like, you know, uh, uh, forces of nature or agents of nature and agents of chaos, true neutral beings that are no way interested in anything except universe's homeostasis. Nope, they're just on team. They're on Team Goku and they're on Team Vegeta, and now they're the good guys, and they're just another one of the team now. They have no meaningful relationship. They have no interesting, or not meaningful, no interesting relationship with the cast, no interesting relationship with Goku or Vegeta. And I say interesting, but now let me correct myself. Whis' relationship with Bulma is funny, and I'll give it that. But other than that, it's like, what the fuck, right? It's like stupid. Now we have Beerus and Whis training, or at least Whis anyway, training Goku and Vegeta. And they make it a point over and over and over. Beerus is like, "Oh, Whis, why are you training these guys? Are you trying to make Goku take my Destroyer God title?" And Whis goes, "No, no, Lord Beerus. We're just training because what else are we gonna do with these characters?" It's like, it's so bad. It's so it's it really is it really is just like all of this talent and all of this effort that went into making these interesting characters narratively interesting down the drain. Because now they're just another mentor figure for Goku for eventually for him to surpass, right? Or maybe surpass. At least they've shown enough restraint to not have Goku surpass Beerus, even though they're constantly flirting with it in the anime. They're constantly teasing it. Goku's gonna surpass Beerus. Goku's as close to Beerus. It's like at least they have shown enough restraint not to blow that trigger or blow that or pull that trigger, I should say. Um, and it's it's very annoying in the anime. But with regards to this movie, it's the beginning of the end. It's the beginning of the end, and it's just like a a triumphant and loud announcement that we are not doing anything interesting. We are not doing anything interesting, and it just sucks. It just really sucks. Frieza, they went through all this effort of reviving Frieza. They went through all this effort through reviving Frieza, and then again, nothing interesting with Frieza. Oh, let's just fight Goku. Um, okay, well, Goku is now way stronger than you were, Frieza. Okay, let me train. Guys, can we see how Goku? Can we see how Frieza trains? Can we see Frieza's approach to training as someone who's never trained? Let's put Frieza in a position where he just doesn't automatically win the golden form. Let's see him work for it, right? How does he train? How does he look like when he trains? How does he approach training? Nope, he just gets gold now. No wins, no no effort, no nothing, right? And then how do we? And then similarly, how do we earn Super Saiyan Blue? Let's earn Super Saiyan Blue. How do we earn it? What does this signify narratively? What new chapter in Goku and Vegeta's life has been unlocked that allows Super Saiyan Blue to be achieved? What does it represent for these characters? I don't know. I don't fucking know. And that's the worst thing about Super, right? It just tosses. That's just really the worst thing about this movie. And then, uh, God, I could just keep going, but I'm just gonna say two more things. Then we have the Pistol of Doom heard around the world, heard around the universe, where some goon, because I don't even know what his name is, some goon managed to shoot uh, Goku in Super Saiyan Blue and critically wound him. Frieza couldn't beat Goku in Super Saiyan Blue. Couldn't beat Goku in Super, no matter all the effort that Frieza put in into presumably into gold and then using gold to try to beat Goku. He burned out. He couldn't do it. Goku was about to do the finishing blow, was about to put him down, and then some goon, I think you can see him right here in like the bottom right corner of the poster. Some goon just shoots a normal blaster, like some stormtrooper ass blaster, and hits Goku in the chest and critically wounds him. And he goes from blue all the way to base form. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? After everything that again, this feels like an insult. Everything that we pay attention to, like power scaling and how ki works, because Dragon Ball doesn't give a shit about explaining how its world and its power system works, right? So we have to do it ourselves as fans. So all the effort that we put in the explaining how it works and making sure and what is blue, how strong is it respective to God or to Red God, all this effort, it's just down the drain because it doesn't matter because like we could just shoot Goku and and he uh, and he just dies. And I know they explain it as like, oh well, he wasn't paying attention. He put his guard down. He's in Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. You don't think that that form gives him some form of sensory awareness where he can figure out if something's going to happen to him, or at least give him some like armor? Certainly gives him enough armor to survive, universal and galactic exploding blasts from Frieza. It can't protect him against. It's like like a shield he has to put up at all times. You don't think that blue in and of itself can do that? Anyway, I don't want to get into that. And then the last thing, I don't want to like debate that. And then the last thing is the very end. Vegeta steps in because Goku's an idiot, and he puts Frieza down, and Frieza blows up the planet. Frieza blows up the Earth and kills everybody. And you're like, holy shit, something interesting finally happens. Like the stakes just got way the fuck elevated. Everybody except like Bulma and Beerus and Whis and Bulma and then maybe some other characters and Goku, Vegeta died. Presumably, they all survived, but everybody else died. Like Chi Chi, Gohan, maybe Gohan, Goten for sure. Like all these characters just died. And oh, I have another thing to add. Speaking of Gohan, but let me finish this thought. They all died, and then you think to yourself, "Oh my God, what are they gonna do now?" Right? Obviously, like this is like Dragon Ball. It's like the stakes are never. It's never gonna be like that dire, right? Even in Buu, when everybody fucking died, like everybody just came back. So you're thinking, okay, what are they gonna do? They're gonna go to Namek and wish people back? Are they gonna do some, some? They have to like redeem themselves to learn from their mistake, and then when they redeem themselves and learn from their mistake, they can earn it back. Something. But instead, what we get is we saying, "Oh, I can turn back time 3 minutes, and then if you want, I can do that." Why is Whis doing that? I thought Whis and Beerus were truly neutral. They had no side one way or the other. They certainly implied it and said it in the movie when they showed up to eat strawberry shortcakes or whatever the fuck they ate in the movie, right? But no. Now it's like, oh, Whis, can you turn the time 3 minutes? Okay, sure, bro. Here, try again. Why? Why? And again, that's when Beerus and Beast just went down the drain because these characters they don't they're just good guys. They're just good guys. They're agents of Goku and Vegeta. They're not agents of nature. They're not agents of chaos. They're agents of the plot and they're agents of whatever Goku and Vegeta are doing at the time. That's it. And then the last thing I'll add, I don't understand why this movie had such a boner and had such an insistent on insulting Gohan. And I'm not like a super Gohan, fan or anything like that. Where I think like that Gohan should be treated with like the utmost respect or anything. Like he can be like a comedic character. That's fine. Like I think everybody works better that way anyway. But why did we make it a point to like make fun of Gohan and him being like, oh well, I could maybe turn Super Saiyan, but I don't know. I kind of forgot, guys. And everyone just makes fun of him. And then you have Frieza. You have Frieza in not base form, but like yeah, base form Frieza. It is base form actually. Base form Frieza shoots a beam and kills Gohan. Which, by the way, Gohan's stronger than Boo. But base form Frieza shoots a beam, kills Gohan in one hit, and Piccolo has to do Namekian CPR to bring him back. He kills Gohan. He legitimately kills Gohan, and he's down for the rest of the movie. What the fuck? Why? Why are we making it a point to insult like one of our fan favorite characters? And to make fun of him and to like minimize and dismiss him and to do all this shit. Like I don't understand. I don't understand. And then you have fans go like, "Whoa, wow, like Gohan's on fraud watch." Well, it's not Gohan being on fraud watch. It's that the movie is like has this boner for making Gohan seem pathetic. Anyway, this movie is horrible. It's like an insult. Everything that I liked about Dragon Ball is gone, and all the stuff that I don't like about it is like here and in color and everywhere, and it's in your face, and it's horrible to avoid it. And after this movie, when I watched this movie, even I remember like back then, even after I watched it, I was like, this is bad. This is really, really, really bad. Um, and it bodes ill for what comes next, right? And then Super came out, the anime, and guess what? It wasn't good. And it was more of the same problems and the same issues as Resurrection F. Not to the same degree, right? Because it played over what? It played over like 5 years or 4 years. This played over 90 minutes. But it was a lot of the same issues. And that's the last thing I'll say about Resurrection F. It's trash. All right. Now, the worst movie in the catalog is talked about. But now, the best movie in the catalog. Oh my god. What a turnaround. I don't think there's ever been like a comeback, a 180 of quality this this pronounced, and I don't know how long. I can't even think of anything else that has the very next movie coming off from this is just phenomenal. Super Broly is such is just it's just it's just what Dragon Ball needs to be. It doesn't need to be overtly complicated. It doesn't need to be gimmicky, or it doesn't need to be gimmicky. It doesn't have to be overtly complicated. They don't have to come up with all these like stupid justifications to have to have Goku fight. Like Goku loves fighting. He doesn't need a fucking million justifications for him to fight, right? That uses it. It actually uses its characters interestingly, and it's a competent movie that has phenomenal animation and phenomenal. It's a competently narratively written movie that has phenomenal animation and phenomenal fight choreography. That's what this movie is. And it excels. It fucking excels. Oh my god, right? The worst part about all of these movies tend to be the beginning when they're yapping and they're talking and they're doing all this stuff. This movie does a fucking fantastic job at building up Broly and making his character really uh, really human, for lack of a better word, really humanizing and making him a lot more relatable in an actually meaningful character. Right, Broly in the other movies, as you can see by the rankings here, he doesn't rank very highly. He's an amazing design, he's an amazing gimmick, but the movies that feature him are plagued by horrible pacing, horrible fight choreography, uh, and generally just bad execution all around. Here we start from scratch. We take the great design from Broly, we make it even better. In my opinion, I think Super Broly looks better than Z Broly, and then we humanize him. We give him an actual backstory, and we explain why he's been MIA for fucking 50 years while all of Dragon Ball Z has been happening, right? And uh, having him having him be rewritten as this basically like this wilderness jungle boy who only wants to play with his alien dog and eat is so like is so wholesome and so wholehearted, and it's like so cool. And you actually feel sympathy for the guy, right? Because he's abused by his father, and he's not treated right, and he has all this like amazing talent to fight, uh, but it's only being used maliciously, and it's only being used for conquest and for his father's selfish needs for revenge, right? And it's like it sucks, and it's like you feel bad for the guy, and you're like, oh my god, like everybody knows Broly's not a bad guy, but he's just put in a really bad situation. The other characters that they introduced, Chila and Lemo, I think they're super cool. I think they're exactly what Super needed, which is like uh, interesting other alien species that can like flesh out the Dragon Ball universe, right? And Super did that to some degree with like Hit, but uh, I think they faltered more often than not with regards to that. But like Shilai and Lemo, they're like Frieza guys who are they're just in it for the job because Frieza is a threat to the universe. Um, why Goku and Vegeta let Frieza live? That's a whole other question. But like still, right? Like it's you can it's logical. It's logical. And then you get to the fight, and what can I say? It's like it's the best. choreography in any Dragon Ball fight. And like guess what? A Dragon Ball movie with really fantastic fight choreography equals an amazing watch experience. The animation is fantastic, the effect design is fantastic, the sound design is fantastic, the pacing is fantastic, the locale is fantastic, the way Frieza, Goku, Vegeta, and Broly all bounce off each other is fantastic. It's just peak. It's I don't know what to tell you. It's exactly what Dragon Ball needed, and this is what I just want. Like I don't care, to be honest, and this could be kind of a hot take. I don't care if Dragon Ball doesn't have any more TV shows anymore. Daima is cool. I haven't watched Daima in its entirety yet, and I like that Daima is going in a way different direction, but if every movie is just like here's this amazingly well designed fight with these interesting characters that flesh out the Dragon Ball universe, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with getting a movie of Broly quality every 4 years. I wouldn't complain if it was just here it is. Here's like some like and the Dragon Ball universe and the lore is just like so overwhelmingly massive. Like you could take it anywhere. You could do something like, oh, like here's this random thing from Dragon Ball that was like a Toriyama thing that he never brought back again because he forgot. We're gonna bring it back. We're gonna make something, have it be a justification for Goku and Vegeta to fight, and they're going to like have an amazing time. It doesn't have to be Goku and Vegeta. It could be Broly. It could be Gohan. It could be Piccolo. It could be someone else, right? But like, and it's just phenomenal, and it looks great, and it's gorgeous, and and it's just a great time all around. That's exactly what this movie is, and it's exactly what Dragon Ball needs to be, in my opinion. It doesn't need to be like a narrative masterpiece. It doesn't need to be this like tale that's gonna make you cry. It just needs to be compelling, engaging, and visually stunning. And that's what Broly is, and that's why it's the best movie. All right, let's finish this off with superhero. Superhero. I'm a little. It's up. It's top three for sure. I just don't know if it's better than Janemba or not. Um, I'm gonna say it's the third best movie. I'm gonna say it's not as good as Janemba, but it is far and away better than everything else. Um, Superhero's just fun. Superhero is again, uh, they again like just what I was talking about. They take some random tidbit of lore from Dragon Ball's 30 plus years of source material that's been long forgotten. They take it and they twist it and they make it as a justification, and they make some clumsy, or not clumsy, but like some meaning, meandering justification to fight the Z Warriors, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, whoever, and it works, and it's gorgeous, and it's stunning, and it's great. What makes this movie so interesting to watch for me is that it's so different. It's such a different movie because what it's trying to achieve is unlike anything this every other movie has done, right? So you have Goku and Vegeta are completely absent from the main narrative of the movie because they're stuck in Whis' world training while the Red Ribbon Army is coming back. Um, and there's like a funny there's like a let me see how I can explain it. There's like this funny uh, like this funny play, I guess, on Dragon Ball. It's like a meta narrative where these characters who are clearly weaker than the main threats. Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 are like at least Goku level, right? They say it's so in the movie. They're at least like Goku Super Saiyan Blue level in the movie. Um, and Piccolo is just like completely outmatched, right? Piccolo and is just completely outmatched. But he has brains, right? And he's like the tactician and the smart guy of the group. So we're trying to figure out. So like a significant part of the movie is just him trying to figure out how the hell to like get the upper hand. And I think the the answer that he chooses or he comes up with like tapping in into Gohan and him asking the dragon for a power boost are not like insanely creative, but it's interesting. It's different. And it's like played for laughs, right? It's kind of like played for laughs. It's like, oh, well, hey, dragon, do you think you could give me a power boost like the elder did? And he's like, yeah, sure, here, and I'll give you a little extra. It's like, oh, cool. And then and then with Gohan, it's like Piccolo purposely trying to get him angry so he can power up because again, Gohan is written that he only gets powerful when he's angry, right? And so you have like this thing where he like purposefully tries to make it seem like he's hurting Pan, his daughter, so he can get pissed off and achieve that ultimate or mystic form, right? And that's cool. Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 are also very cool characters. They're really cool and they're really interesting. And how they, when they fight, right? Like you have like, they fight with guns and they have capes and yeah, they have like fisticuffs and stuff, but they don't shoot ki blasts. They shoot their guns and they have blasters. And when they fight, you see like action comic book sound effects come up, like onomatopoeias, right? And that's super cool. Um, and it's again, it's like has a comedic flair to it. Um, and and then speaking of new characters, Pan steals the show, right? She's so cute and every time she's on screen, it's like so adorable, and they make her such like a charming and charismatic and an easily lovable character that you can't help but root for her. And she takes part in the action as well, even though she's 3 years old. And I think that's amazing, and I think that's like really, and they do it well. Um, and instead of having it be like, oh, like we're gonna steal Pan, it's like, oh, we're gonna steal Pan, but Pan, you have to play along at, that you're being kidnapped, so Daddy Gohan can lock in and achieve his higher form, and I think it's really. I think it's funny, and I think it's like again, they take this meta narrative where it plays on itself. I think the movie is paced a little slower than I would like. I think it takes a while for it to get going. Um, with like explaining like Doctor Hedo and having him come back to the Red Ribbon Army and everything like that after he served jail time and stuff like that. And it was like, okay, like we don't really need like an expanded dialogue sequence explaining why the Red Ribbon Army came back. Like we can just like piece two and two together. Um, and so I think that slowed down the movie a little bit. But also it gave us like stuff like Piccolo's like plushie collection and Piccolo like knowing how to use a smartphone so you can FaceTime people, and I think that's all really funny. Again, it's all really funny, and again, it plays into that like that expanded lore that or it adds to world building that for these characters that I really enjoy. Um, the effects design, the effects design is out of this world. I was a little cautious when I first saw this in theaters. Um, Back in 2022 when I found out that it was all going to be in 3D, and I was like a little cautious, but honestly, like they knocked it out of the park. Like, oh my god, like this movie is gorgeous, and then there's in some moments like with its effects design where it's like, holy moly, like I can't believe how good this looks. And it's like it feels so impactful and it feels so great, and I think that's most evident when Gohan Beast finally comes out and just like he feels so overwhelmingly powerful and like so strong. And when he does the special beam canning and it clashes with cells, like nuclear blast, and it just like causes like all these effects to go in, and you can see like both beams go into each other, and it causes like this nuclear reaction. I think it's really good. I think it's amazing. Um, Gohan Beast, it's a little referential. It's a little masturbatory. If I'm a little honest, it's a little, uh, a little self-referential. Um, and it's by design, right? When Gohan transforms Beast, he has like the same snap that he did in the anime, and when he screams, you can hear like in the background of Gohan's scream, you can hear like the child scream that he did when he turned Super Saiyan 2. And Beast looks just like Super Saiyan 2, except he has gray hair and it's like 3 times longer, and he has red eyes. Beast only looks bad in like 90% of all media that it's featured in, but it looks great in Superhero, which is the source material, and Sparking Zero. In any other context, it does not look good, and the manga doesn't look good, and I don't know, and like in the games and stuff, like in the mobile games, it doesn't look good. But I'm not 100% opposed to it. What I do really like though is Orange Piccolo. I love that Piccolo got a power up. I love how he got it. I think it. Oh, sorry, I just received a call. Um, I lost my train of thought, but basically, Superhero is great, and they should make more of it. And I just realized I left my groceries in the car, so I have to go pick it up. All right, see ya.